Sixth U.S. scientist adjacent reported missing. This is the Alligator News Roundup. Plus, TSA lines help the economy by offering commercial line-sitting job opportunities. Broke California City contemplates huge pay raises for city council. And KitKat heist in Europe is trolled globally. Here we go.
Number 4. New York Post. Married mom who vanished last year could be tied to missing and dead U.S. scientists.
This is not satire. This New York Post article from last Friday adds one more name to the growing list of high-clearance individuals who have disappeared or been killed since last June. Each of the now 6 people in question had government security clearances and were maybe engaged in some aspect of nuclear research or missile technology. The latest is Melissa Cassius, an administrative assistant at Los Alamos National Laboratory. In her position, she would have had access to sensitive, high-level documents related to nuclear research at the lab. The list of recent dead and missing scientist types now includes 1. William McCaslin, age 68, U.S. Air Force General, retired. Research Commander, Kirtland AFB, New Mexico. Former commander of the Air Force Research Laboratory, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Dayton, with ties to UAP and UFO research. Disappeared from Albuquerque February 27, 2026. He left his telephone behind. Number 2, Monica Jacinto Reza, age 60, aerospace engineer formerly with Aerojet Rocketdyne, creator of Mondaloy, a nickel-based superalloy used in connection with rocket propulsion. She disappeared June 22, 2025, while on a hiking trip near Los Angeles. 3. Carl Grillmer, age 67, research scientist, astrophysicist at Caltech, studied distant planets, NASA Scientific Achievement Medal 2011, shot to death at his home in Llano, California, February 16, 2026. 4. Nuno Loureiro, age 47, theoretical physicist, fusion scientist, head of the Plasma Science and Fusion Center at MIT, shot dead at his home, Brookline, Massachusetts, December 15, 2025. 5. Jason Thomas, age 45, assistant director for chemical biology at Novartis, contracts with Department of Defense. Remains were discovered in March 2026, disappeared from his home in Wakefield, Massachusetts on December 13, 2025, left his phone, wallet, and Apple Watch behind. 6. Melissa Cassius, age 54, administrative assistant, Los Alamos National Laboratory, access to secure nuclear research documents. Disappeared June 26, 2025. Left her cell phones, both work and personal, behind. They had been wiped clean. Cassius and Reza both had ties to General McCaslin. One thing I note is that Cassius and Reza both disappeared separately within 4 days of each other. The other thing I note is that the New York Post and the Guardian do not publish the dates of their older online articles. Drives me nuts. My web interface only says this article is more than a month old. So when the copy says his body was discovered last Monday, I suppose that means you can take your pick of Mondays. Make of these disappearances and deaths what you will. The UFO pundits are already in full alien swing.
Number 3. Martsev.com. TSA lines are so out of control that travelers are hiring line sitters.
On to more important matters, like how Donald Trump is absolutely destroying, I say destroying, the U.S. economy by demanding the Strait of Hormuz remain open for peaceful international commerce. You have to say that sentence pretty fast and ignore some of the words to have it make any sense at all. Nevertheless, that is what I gather from the mainstream news. The long lines at airports are due to unpaid TSA workers not showing up, which is due to the failure of the Senate to approve TSA funding until ICE quits deporting illegals, which is somehow related to the war in Iran. I know, it's pretty confusing, but if you just skim the headlines, you can get a clear picture of how you are to believe that Trump is killing the USA. Never mind the details, because all may not be quite the doom and gloom we seem to thrive on. Important people are somehow reluctant to stand in a TSA line for hours at a time. Like every crisis since Cain killed Abel, this has created a market opportunity. Where do you suppose undertakers came from anyway? In the current environment, you can get a part-time job for $20 an hour standing in line for air travelers. If you are the traveler, there are businesses you can contact to be put in touch with a placeholder. If you are the placeholder, understand you must remain on your feet and shuffle obediently among the crowd. Not too different than big box retail sales, except there is virtually no training required. But I may be repeating myself. Once the airport lines evaporate, which they may have done by the time you read this, TSA agents will be paid again without Senate action because they all went home so as not to miss Easter sunrise service, and many of those line-sitting jobs will have gone away. So it may be yet another instance of you having missed the window for easy money. C'est la vie.
Number 2. New York Post. Oakland, one of the most corrupt cities in America, considers huge pay bumps for council members.
And speaking of easy money, this jewel is from Oakland, California, widely understood to be the most financially irresponsible city in these United States. In debt for maybe $100 million, it's hard to tell from the article, members of the city council are considering drastic action. The members' annual pay is currently $109,000, probably a mere pittance by California standards. The council has entertained a proposal to base their pay on, quote, market-appropriate compensation, unquote, which probably means making their own paychecks match those for council positions in San Diego, 3 times the size of Oakland, or Los Angeles, 9 times the size. The members' pay raise required for this would hover somewhere around 100%. By the time you add the generous city benefit package, citizens of Oakland, which for some reason is called the town, and I've been there and I could actually think of other terms for it, would find themselves on the hook for over $300,000 per council member. For 8 council members, that's a hefty load to carry. But with the fiscal disaster threatening to swallow the town, something must be done. Maybe raising their pay will fix the problem. Or not. Sort of makes me wish I was still on the city council in my town of 1,000 souls. Think of the lifestyle possibilities.
Number 1. Red State. Hilarious responses from other brands after large stash of KitKat bars goes missing in Europe.
Nestle's KitKat, a supporter of Formula One racing, has converted some of their chocolate candy bars to Indy-themed treats. Shaped like an F1 car, I suppose the wrapped chocolate item tastes the same. Hard for me to tell. Every time I've eaten a KitKat, it doesn't last long enough to register the flavor. Maybe it was the Indy racer attraction, but someone hijacked a truck in Europe carrying 12 tons of the candy bars. That would be 413,793 units, taken somewhere between Italy and Poland. KitKat put out a public service announcement admitting the theft. Official statement. We can confirm that 12 tons of KitKat products were stolen while in transit between our factory in central Italy and their destination in Poland. We are working closely with local authorities and supply chain partners to investigate. The good news, there are no concerns for consumer safety. Publicity being what it is, copycats immediately jumped on the story. Domino's Pizza, official statement. We would like to share our thoughts and condolences with KitKat following their recent sad news. On a completely unrelated note, we're pleased to announce we'll now be selling a new KitKat pizza. DoorDash, official statement. Due to a completely random packaging error, we have 12 tons of KitKats in our Dash Marts that we can't sell. The good news, all you have to do is go to your DoorDash app and add like 500 to 600 KitKats to your cart, and this should resolve itself quickly. Charlotte Football Club, official statement. We would like to share our sincere thoughts and condolences to KitKat after the recent news of 12 tons of KitKats being stolen. On an unrelated note, we are happy to share that we will be offering roughly 413,000 KitKats at this Saturday's match against Philadelphia at Bank of America Stadium. I'm waiting for another remake of The Italian Job, maybe this time with F1 racers instead of Mini Coopers, except they'd probably have trouble with the steps. And thanks for joining the Alligator News Roundup for Friday, April 3, 2026. This has made me hungry. I think I'll try some KitKat casserole next time it's my turn to cook. And just a cultural note for this Easter weekend. When you go to church and someone greets you by saying, "He is risen," the correct response is, "He is risen indeed," because he is, indeed. Have a good weekend.
Thanks for joining us today. Come back again next week for all those pressing news stories that will make you a better person. See you in church on Sunday.